Welcome to AskFOI, where we answer the most common questions we receive about prophecy, Israel, and the Bible. With me to answer today's question is Paul Pierce. Welcome, Paul.
Good to be with you, Steve.
Paul, you've been a pastor for many years, and you, I'm sure, have run into this many times that people find biblical prophecy confusing, or they feel it divides the church, or they want to minimize Bible prophecy. And it might make those in the congregation ignore it, or they brush over it altogether in their own personal Bible study. Um, but how would you answer this question if someone's saying, "Oh, don't worry about prophecy," or "Don't make such a big deal about prophecy"? How would you answer them?
Well, I would first of all tell them, well, it's a great question. What do we do with prophecy? And it's interesting to note that about a third of Scripture is prophetic. And if God included that in Scripture, God must have deemed it important for us to know as well. And I would turn to Revelation chapter 1, where it talks about the prophecies of that book. It says, "Blessed are those who read it, who understand it, and heed it." So there must be something important enough about prophecy for us to pay attention to that.
How do you suggest someone approach prophecy? Because we see words that we may find that are symbolic, and others would
Mhm.
say, no, they're literal. How do you, in general terms, approach prophetic books of the Bible?
Well, unless the text itself suggests that this is an analogy or a parable or such, I would encourage people to read it literally for what it says. And really, any teaching of prophecy is a reflection not just of events that are going to take place, but they reflect who God is. And so we look at prophecy, these are reflective of God who has a plan and a purpose. And with that is a great message of hope. And I think prophecy offers us that guarantee, that confident expectation, and joyful assurance of the future that's anchored in the truth of God and His Word.
When it is concerning Israel, you and I were just together, and I heard you speak, and you said that when Israel became clear to you,
Mhm.
and Israel's place in the Bible, everything else seemed to unlock for you
Yes.
after that. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, there was a time in my ministry early on when I was reading different authors and different views of the end times. And some of it was very intriguing, to my mind anyway. And so I had to determine, what did I really believe? So that I was plunged into a 3-month real search of Scripture. Dr. Reynolds Shower's books helped me do that as well. But when I was able to clarify the reality and the literalness of Israel in God's plan, then the rest of my understanding of the end times fell into place. It doesn't answer all of the questions about prophecy in the end times, but it sure put it in a perspective for me to understand. And I came out of that with a clear understanding of the imminent return of Christ and God's unfolding plan of redemption.
Thank you so much, Paul. I will say in closing, since Paul mentioned Dr. Ronald Shower's books, if you're interested in learning more about this kind of teaching, you can go to the link in the show notes in the description below, and you'll learn how you can receive Israel My Glory magazine, either in print or digital. And we have decades of articles on that site, many of which are from Dr. Ronald Showers, and we know they'll be insightful to you. So we hope you take advantage of that.